Okay, looks like we have a full house. So I'm going to cut through this pretty quick presentation to really get into more of a discussion. Marilyn unfortunately wasn't able to be here because our plane got grounded yesterday in Chicago, so I will be doing this. So I just want to bring everybody up to speed with regard to the timeline. As we know, we kicked this off last meeting. This was the second scheduled meeting with another, next meeting will be on July 18th, I think. The date comes up later. We have to have a plan into the legislature by August 1st. Pick the seat anywhere you want, Rich. And once we do that, we'll go back and forth with the legislature with regard to the finalization of the plan. So last meeting, we created a panel, which was defined by the governor's office. Then by August 1st, we have to have the development of the initial plan and submittal to the legislature, at which time we'll go back and forth with the legislature. Please. And then by the 15th, the legislature has to have gotten back to us. Obviously, we'll be working throughout that period of time. We'll have to hold public hearings with regard to the plan, and then we'll submit the plan and it becomes part of the budget. So, I mean, if you step back and take a look at the timetable here, basically we have 6 weeks or less than 6 weeks to get together a plan. So, with participation like what we've got right now, that will be a bit of a challenge, but I think, you know, we can obviously work outside this room and get that done. As we well know, there was previously a fiscal vision team, Sam, when you were on the legislature years ago, that existed. There were a number of things that were discussed. I'm not going to spend any time on this. We've looked through this, we've talked through it. Tom went through and did take a look at and put in this presentation so people will have it. And I'll leave these up here for a couple seconds each on what different counties are doing and what consolidation efforts they've made in the past. You'll see, you know, some similarities between a lot of them. IT brings through many equipment sharing, something I know we do through our highway departments for us, and I know you deal with our highway all the time and your counterparts. Chemung, Essex, Dutchess, kind of the same thing as you read through all these. Again, this will be online, so you can spend more time on it. Fulton. Nothing in here, I think, that will surprise really anybody. Again, to what degree it's consolidated is different for each of the counties. And we got this information through the NISAC publications. That being said, it sounded like based on the last discussions we had, these were for the areas. We do some of this joint purchasing already with energy. We don't really do it on the insurance side, but on the energy side, I know we do. Shared highway equipment. I know we have IMAs with all of the municipalities that do that, so I'm not really sure what further we would do. And I know there's a lot of informal communication that goes on between the superintendents and my commissioner that fall under the existing IMAs that enable us to not only do work, but also share equipment. So we do that on a pretty regular basis. I'm not really sure what we're going to further do on that. I don't know if Russ, you have some thoughts, but shared storage facilities. You know, I know we've already talked about and looked at, again, working with the superintendent, salt sheds and things of that nature. I know from a records retention standpoint, we already do that. And obviously then we've got back office administrative overhead. The one I don't see on here, Tom, is IT. Is that purposeful?
No comment.
Now, I know we've been working more with Maureen on a pilot with this, and maybe you two can talk about where we are with that and how it's working, Maureen, from your standpoint, and you know what it means to us, Tom, from a standpoint of the county.
We've seen an increase in the amount of work, but that was really on the initial rollout. For now, it's just some things that come up. The supervisor has had some very personal requests that we've had to deal with, but you know, we got that working. I think you were having something blocked or something like that. I forget what that was. But that's common to actually what we have with our employees. So there's really been nothing out of the ordinary that we've encountered. It is increasing the amount of storage that we do need to provide because it's increasing the amount of emails that we have. And it's not really the emails.
You're telling me Maureen doesn't read her email like me?
No. It's the emails and the attachments. There's just so many attachments, and that takes up so much room. And subsequent to that, we've also been having discussions with the chief of police talking about the CAD, which is how they dispatch, and the records management and retention of, and possibly consolidating that into one countywide server. We are in the absolute preliminary stages of discussion on that to see how that will work for us.
With the CAD.
With the CAD and the RMS, as it's called. There's a benefit to sharing that information on a county level with some lockdown of information, but just having the database of names and addresses that are available across the county to all agencies is very helpful. But then you also have to, you have a legal requirement to restrict access to certain files. We have to make sure that that's met. But we're working on that.
And don't we already have a CAD team that we're working on?
Yeah, correct.
Within county?
Correct.
Do we include any of the municipalities in that? Or is it through the radio?
That's the radio. All the municipalities are included in the radio committee that we have, and that's really beginning to really have, the legs are growing on that one. That's rolling very quickly right now. The CAD, we do have a CAD team. Kent Police, Carmel Police, they've all been part of that as we work to roll that out. And this is really because we're looking at a new CAD that's free, which we love free, that's being offered by our current CAD vendors. So we're looking at upgrading that.
So I'm gonna put CAD on here too then. IT?
CAD, IT. You really should put radio on there, Bruce, because that's a huge project that has the possibility of savings to all the different municipalities.
We've got to buy radios for our fire departments. How are we saving there?
Well,
Listen, I love the committee. I absolutely do, and it's invaluable.
yeah,
It costs me money.
We're actually working on how to fund that.
yeah.
Believe it or not.
When you talk about that, it's you, and I don't want to get on the stage right now, but you need to talk to your fire departments and tell them to go out and get the grants, because there is a lot of money out there, and they're.
Listen, I'm not going to rely on my fire departments.
That's a problem.
I'll write the grants myself.
Yeah,
Go out.
and that's really what we're looking at, and that's what we have discussed, as you know, in there, where we've said we think the county needs to write the grant and push it forward to the town so that it can go through. Otherwise, we're not going to get the money that's sitting out there waiting to be tapped.
Right.
Well, they can co-sponsor the grant, right?
Well, you know, you have unique things. As I look over, and that's my fire department, Brewster, that's a tax district. It's a totally different animal. The town really has no authority over that. But the town of Patterson oversees the fire department. I think they have, it's within their full right to put in for the grant themselves. I'm not sure what the fire department needs to do on that. So we have a split. There's only a few districts that are out there that really have to put this in on their own. And they would, because being a tax district, they would want to do that to save money.
All right, does anybody think that any one of these should come off the list or anything else should go on the list? Good afternoon, Kenny.
Good afternoon.
Schools, Bruce, schools is such a huge component of the cost to the taxpayer. That's what's driving our seniors out of here, keeping our young families away. You know, Mary Ellen said it last meeting, 71% of every dollar goes to the schools. And I'm not talking about consolidating the districts, consolidate central office. We would save literally tens of millions of dollars just doing that. Have one superintendent, a couple of assistants, and their back office staff overseeing the 6 districts. Let the principals, the assistant principals, all the departments stay within the school districts, but you have consolidated services at the very top. Unless we bang on Albany's door with this in a unified voice, they're going to continue to let things go as they are. We can save a few cents here and there. As Rich said, some of it will cost us money. But the bottom line is, if we really, and the governor is serious about shared services and saving taxpayer dollars, he's got to look at the schools. I feel very strongly about that. As do our taxpayers.
I understand.
Yeah, I see that. Thank you.
But does anybody think anything should come off? What's your feeling, Russ, with the highway equipment stuff?
I think we're already sharing services. Let's see if there's any,
What about the specific to this plowing? The plow up, plow down, I know that was a.
everybody does it differently. Plowing operations are all different. Most towns go straight salt, we don't. I do a 50-50 mix.
Right, we do something similar as well.
Yeah, so if I plowed your county roads and I'd be spreading my sand and salt, you guys would be out there sweeping them, or somebody'd have to sweep.
Right. What about the shared storage facilities?
I don't have enough storage. myself as it is now.
I mean, I think that would check them off this list. Yeah, Lynn.
I really think, I said this last time, and I know no one wants to talk about it, but we really should look at government consolidation as far as county level, town level, and village level. I just think an overall look to see if we can consolidate, because we're leaving ourselves out of the mix, and that isn't fair to the taxpayers.
You got specifics on who should be consolidated?
That's why I really would, well, you know, honestly, I can tell you that if it puts me out of a job, and the taxpayers save money and we're more efficient, that's fine by me. I really think we haven't taken a serious look at this at all. And I do agree that the schools is where the major savings is, but I'm not sure we need, as I said, when I researched county government in regards to, and states that didn't have it, in general, their taxpayers paid less. They paid less. And I think there's a reason for that we need to look at.
Okay, I got that in here. Anything else anybody wants to add?
I would take the shared storage facilities
Yeah,
and Bruce.
okay.
And
No, I agree with that.
I certainly don't.
Plus it gives
have
me more room on my screen.
Hey, Bruce? I
Yeah,
would just
Rick.
like to point out with shared highway equipment, there's 3 different studies that have been done in different counties that looked at highway equipment and highway services. And generally, each of the 3 studies, they found the same thing, that with routine services provided by the highways, that it's better done at a local town level, whereas the counties were better off specializing, and there was significant savings in going down that road. And I don't, you know, I mean, I've always supported at least looking at something similar in Putnam County.
Yeah, if we've got 3 studies that say it's not worth doing, then I don't know that we need a 4th.
Chemung's study said it was better off to specialize. The Ulster County, they're doing it now. Which ones did you see that said it wasn't worth it?
No, they said it wasn't worth it. You're saying to
No,
consolidate.
I'm saying the 3 studies that I looked at in other counties said it was worth looking at. What the studies found was that the county specializing in delivering highway services while the town's doing the routine maintenance, plow up, plow down, you know,
Right.
doing the trimming along the roads, it was better done at a local level.
So it's really not shared highway equipment.
Shared highway services.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else to add or come off? You know, there's one thing that seemed glaringly missing through this process as you read through what we're supposed to do. And, you know, in this instance, what it is we're focused on one side of the balance sheet, if you will, which is the expense side. But I think I personally think there are opportunities, and I pointed to a number that we're working on right now with underlying municipalities where there's an opportunity to increase revenue. And by virtue of that, you know, it doesn't have the direct effect of lowering taxes, but essentially it does if you know, can increase ratables, increase commercial business, increase jobs, increase sales tax. It does have the effect of lowering taxes. It's just a different way to look at it. Lynn?
I think that's fantastic for the county. I think it's a lousy deal for the towns. We don't share sales tax. We get the traffic, we get the headaches, you get the dollars. And this has been a problem for us in Southeast for 2 decades.
Well, I'm actually not suggesting that that's the way. I'm not saying how it's going to be done. What I'm saying is I think there's an opportunity, and quite frankly, we're working through some Southeast, you know, we're working on, as you well know, as I reported out to your committee, looking at the state line road sewer plant. And, you know, that will increase traffic, but it also increases commercial business, job opportunities, and the utilization of property, and therefore ratables within your town as well.
And I understand that, but it would be nice, and I know there are a few members from the town there, and I don't want to get into the weeds on this, but it's problematic in that right now, we have septic capacity out there that doesn't even call for this. So I'm not even clear, and state line, which was approved over 5 years ago now, still not a shovel in the ground. So I'm not clear why a study for 2.4 million that's gonna be is gonna be a consolidated funding grant that's being put in. I'm not sure
The
why.
$2.4 million isn't for a study, it's to put the pipe in the ground.
No, it's 12, it's estimated at 12 million,
Right, and I can only put in for a certain percentage of the CFA.
right.
So the study, you know, we've done pre-preliminary engineering on that. Now, what we're doing is, and quite frankly, my opinion is, that the installation of that as well as the other one in Carmel, whatever Kenny is, to light up our commercial corridors, it's cost effective for us even if we have to bond it. Because at the end of the day, if you really step back and do the pro forma on it, from a business perspective, it's a good opportunity to create jobs, utilize the property to its highest level, and utilize the property effectively, and not have to deal with a lot of the environmental issues. And in fact, we've been working with the DEP and the DEC on these. But those are opportunities where, listen, I'm not opposed if we came up with a creative solution that said we partnered with Southeast to further develop the sewers, using Southeast as an example, and if we could calculate with any degree of certainty what the increased sales tax would be, if there was partial bonding that went from the town and you participated in some of the costs or the engineering of it, then we could take a portion of what's the new realized sales tax and apportion it to Southeast. You just gotta be creative. There's different ways to do this. We've been negotiating, or I've been negotiating deals on behalf of the administration of the county with the DEC on different things like that, in order to try to effectuate where you can put in sewage treatment plants and increase, and Maureen, you've been involved with discussions with the DEC and the DEP on Lake Carmel, right? Trying to solve a very significant community problem and improving, you know, the capability from a commercial standpoint. And obviously, that's a huge project from a money standpoint for Lake Carmel one. And for everybody that knows or doesn't know, you know, the DEC did a TMDL study on that lake, and we've got a lot of work to do to get it back under control. So there's lots of opportunities, I think, on the revenue side of this, and we can be creative about it and figure out how we collectively share to make these projects work, right? I mean, we can consolidate, and at some point, it's a game of, in my opinion, it's somewhat of diminishing returns. On the revenue side, you know, if we work together and we're creative, you know, we can come up with lots of different ideas.
Right, I'm just saying there are diminishing returns on the part of Southeast when we get the ratables, but you get the sales tax. I mean, the ratables, when you figure it out, on all of these, it's minuscule that goes to the town. Frankly, the county makes out better on that than we do. We're the town.
Well, you know, maybe, but, you know, I guess I don't look at this as an adversarial relationship, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, if we increase sales tax, we can also keep or lower our property tax, which, you know, your residents pay Southeast, but they also pay county. So at the end of the day, if you're representing your taxpayer and I'm representing my taxpayer, they're one and the same. And so, you know, where the money necessarily goes at the end of the day, and listen, there's ways to share that, there's ways to come up with opportunities to do that, that are perfectly legitimate and can work for all of us.
I just disagree because our quality of life can be diminished at the expense of lowering everybody's taxes countywide, but not necessarily ours because of the no sharing of sales tax. So I don't want to take a lot of time on this, so I apologize.
And like I said, there are creative ways to be able to share sales tax specific to, and if we're able to delineate, they're derived from a particular project.
Do you know how much how much has been spent as far as studying this project on the county side to this point?
Nothing,
Okay.
because we've done it all in-house. Any other thoughts with, I want to put on here, and we'll get to the committee, revenue opportunities and things like, you know, the sewer projects, whether it's Carmel, whether it's Lake Carmel, whether it's the Southeast Corridor, as opportunities. Anybody object to it?
I do, but I'm not voted, so go ahead. I know what I'm out.
I'll give you some sales tax.
Okay. Did I read that is on tape?
Wait, then we all gonna get nothing?
Huh?
We all get
Rich, you're not getting anything.
Say, Rich?
There you go.
No, I mean, you know, we should talk about this because we've got models set up to do this already. And we've done the financials and I understand them inside now. But, you know, like Southeast can either participate or they can stand in the way. Now, I don't want them to stand in the way, and, we're working through those in different areas and different things, because it's better for all of us you get what you want and need, we get what we want and need, and more importantly, our residents get what they want, need, and, deserve.
Right, but.
To have State Line Road developed in a 2-lane highway that is 4 lanes and have virtually no commercial growth is a travesty. I mean, when we submitted our Tiger grant and we took an aerial picture of the state line and one side of the state line and the other side of the state line, the federal government actually called us and couldn't believe the disparity between the two sides across that
But we
state line.
have a large approved project. It hasn't
No, but
been-
that's one project.
Right, but no one's been standing in the way. These
No,
people are.
and I'm not saying that
Okay.
you're standing, I know it's approved, but we're not talking about going one, we're talking about lighting up that entire corridor from the state line all the way down into Brewster.
Well, it's not because of anyone in Southeast standing in the way.
No,
can tell you
I
that.
didn't say they were.
Right, I mean, our planning board is open for business.
Your commissioner on the planning board is on my task force committee.
I know.
So, we're just plowing ahead because it's the right thing to do. But
it's
there's
not because of
opportunities.
this- But I have to say too, it's not the way it is because there isn't sewer there. That is not the problem. That is not, no one has come in, State Line is fine with having septic. They're fine. It went through it and it's fine, and that's a big project.
Well, I'm not sure what engineering study you're referring to that actually says that. Because
It's approved, so,
one project out of 40 parcels of property is approved.
but none have been turned down, Bruce.
I'm not saying they're turned down.
Right.
But it's more cost effective if somebody has sewer because they don't have to take the rest of the property and build out a septic field. We're dealing with this all over the county where, Patterson Crossing is a great example. They had to build a 13-acre septic field. Well, that's 13 acres that you don't get to use for retail space, and as a result of it then, the cost per square foot is higher than it necessarily should be.
So can we assume, and I'm asking this because I don't know the answer, that and I think it's fantastic that Lake Carmel could get a sewer system, so that I could put out on the record. But does that then service the commercial areas out there? Is that what we're talking about?
That's what the goal is, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted
Yeah,
to know.
and again, that's what helps drive the economics and makes it cost effective for us or in partnership with Maureen and Rich, if we can get something that goes into Patterson to put the whole deal together. So, and that's when I say revenue opportunities, and I'll just put sewers in here as a placeholder, but I think there's probably other ones. But those are the ones we happen to be focused on and have spent a lot of time already doing. I mean, our plan right now is to go and do preliminary engineering. I gotta go back down to the legislature and get money for both the Carmel project and for the State Line Road, to do preliminary engineering, which will just further enable us to submit additional grants.
So if the total project is estimated, as I read the backup papers, at 12 million, and 2.4 is for the CFA, what does the 2.4 cover then?
The actual infrastructure cost.
Okay, and what's the additional 10 roughly?
We're gonna continue to apply for additional grants, but we're limited by what information and what engineering we actually have to do it, which is why we wanna go forward and start doing some preliminary engineering. There's an entire legal process that has to be undertaken, which we've started to investigate. We're pretty far down the track of understanding exactly what we have to do it. And once we're further along, then we'll seek additional money to do whatever study we need to.
Sewer's a good idea, Bruce. I mean, it would even benefit Putnam Valley, Kenny, from Secor to the Putnam Valley line.
Right.
We have businesses there that are tied to septic that cannot increase their size. If we had sewer, it would even help us.
And this is where there's opportunities to get, it's in Kenny's district, get you, me, we can sit down at the table, just like we're doing with Lake Carmel, and just like we're doing with the Carmel extension, and try to identify, well, how do we do this? What has to be done? Who owns the district? How do we set up the district? How do we fund this? What grants can we apply for? And then we work it through.
Do it, yeah. I would put that down.
Yeah, we've got it here, and I mean, if we want to do it, the next step of this, does anybody have anything to add or subtract on this? Because the next piece of this is going to be recognizing we have 6 weeks to put something together. And I know not everybody's in this room, But people have to take leads on these things, and we need to start putting pen to paper as to what we're gonna do. And I'll volunteer to take the sewer one, because I already have a task force set up, and we can just add the additional players that are necessary to do it. Sam, if you wanna throw your piece with this, and with Kenny on it, onto the task force,
Yeah.
we'll incorporate that in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna put my name next to that, and I'm waiting for people to raise their hands to get on the other ones.
Well, before we get on the other one, I have a quick question.
Good.
So I walked in late, I apologize. School buses. What are you gonna
That's
do?
right, you missed Tom saying the pledge.
Oh, okay. I'll catch it later. The legislation calls for a shared services panel to be formed of the county executive and the supervisors.
Right.
Is that gonna happen, or is that not gonna happen?
Well, you know, the problem was this was supposed to be that. Obviously, there's additional people here. But if you go back to the actual language, which we can, it's not limited to just that. Those, you're a must-have.
Yeah, we're.
It's the mayor, right? So it's basically any of the mayors, here's where it says. Mayor of every city or village, supervisor of every town within county, and then anybody else we invite.
So
And
what you're
obviously-
saying is the county executive is just opening it up to everybody?
Because when you read it, it was that broad. I mean, obviously, last time there was a lot more people here than this time, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of our supervisors, right?
I'm serving as.
Oh, 5. Okay. So, you know, my understanding was the supervisors met separately, is that,
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
so,
We've been regularly meeting.
Yeah.
correct. I mean, if you want to, I'm very happy to sit down and go sit with just supervisors, you know, all of them and Jim, and we can bang around whatever else we want to bang around.
Generally, my experience is smaller groups tend to get more done.
No, I agree. And so here's where I want to go, Rich. This is why I bring this up. I want to put somebody's name next to this, and they can then pull whoever, the right people, whoever volunteers to be on that component on the committee, and we can put a plan together. I don't need that. I need to have every supervisor and myself and whoever else sitting at the table for every one of these. I don't think that's effective. I don't have expertise in some of these things, but the people who do, I think, get pulled in.
That raises the second question, is, you know, a few people sitting around a table may not have the expertise to really fully evaluate
Sure.
a plan that you're gonna submit to the county legislature for an advisory
Then,
opinion.
then I'll tell you what I tell every one of my department heads. Then you reach into whatever organization within the county or your own people, and you pick, and you tell whoever's there, they have to participate. I mean, we've got 6 weeks to get this done.
Right, but we don't have to get it done in 6 weeks.
Well, we've got to submit a plan to the legislature in
No,
6
we
weeks.
don't. The rules are, of the legislation, is they would like to see a plan submitted in 6 weeks. If you don't get it done in 6 weeks, then you have to do it next year. That's the rules.
All right, well,
That's the
I
legislation.
don't know if we're voting to do it next year.
Well, I'm
If you want to
saying-
take a vote on that, then, you know,
I don't think realistically, I don't think you're gonna get a plan that everybody's gonna be comfortable with in 6 weeks. So, I'm just suggesting that you might wanna take a step back and plan for the future rather than rush into this.
Yeah, I have to say, I agree with Rich. I would love to do government consolidation, but honestly, I'm not an expert, and it would take me a lot longer than 6 weeks to hand in something that I plan with, depending on who I work with, that I'd be proud to submit. I think
all right,
that's-
well, let me take Rich, your input. If that's true, and I don't know how long it will take to do that, do we at least start now and say, then you own government consolidation, and over the next year, we build a plan?
Well, I do think it would be a very good goal to work as hard as we can in 6 weeks, because I think when you say a year, maybe this is just me, putting things off or not doing the work that I need to do.
I've never procrastinated in my life.
Okay, see. But, I mean, I would like to make some headway within the 6 weeks, but I agree with Rich. I think it's a very unrealistic goal to have something that you're proud of, that you've really put thought into in 6 weeks. I think that's really tough.
And to respond to you, Bruce, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. We start right now, we start working hard on it with the goal, though, of having it done, having something very substantial done, you know, this time next year.
we could certainly have an outline together of some sort in 6 weeks.
Well, maybe that's the goal. We put an outline together as to what areas we're gonna look at, who are the members of your team, what's the mission, what are some of the basic, goals, and what do you think at a high level, what are the opportunities?
Put
Are my legislators okay with that?
I was wondering, what kind of guarantees do you think that'll be there next year? There's no guarantee, I mean, it's now, but, if you want to put it off till next year, there's no guarantee that this grant will be available next year.
Which one? Which grant?
The shared services, what we're discussing, I mean.
Oh, yeah, well, there's all sorts of, nuances to whether you get the grant, whether you actually get money, has to be, approved.
I think, you know what, I mean, I know 6 weeks is a tough timeline, but I think we need to try it and see what we have in front of us, not talk about doing it next year.
Well, Joe, mine will be done in 6 weeks.
No doubt.
Maureen?
Like Bruce, I mean, I think, I think almost everybody would sign up for the, opportunities with county schools, because that's really the gorilla, in the room, but, and I would, I could do an analysis of, what areas we could cut, and we could spend time doing that and come up with like a great plan that would put millions of dollars back in our taxpayers' pockets. But what's to say we'll get that done? I mean, it's-
Yeah, there's not, and quite frankly, I don't know that, I think we would probably want to get one of the superintendents to champion the school piece, right? So,
Right, but do we
I think
have
it's
a
just
super-
smarter for us.
Right.
Obviously, we don't have one here, but we can reach into the organization and talk to them, because we just, to be complete, we should include it.
Right, but I mean, when you're talking about that, what you're talking about, like Lynn said, if we were gonna do a government consolidation and it put her out of work, she wouldn't mind. But I have to say, when a superintendent is making $250,000 and up, I don't think they'd have the same kind of,
Zest.
zest
Zest
for giving
that
up their
investigation.
position.
That's
I mean, the
probably
problem is
true.
getting them to the table, and we all know, having had children in schools, that every time the budget comes up, the kids come home and it's like, Mommy, Daddy, please vote for it, otherwise they're gonna, cut my clubs, cut my sports, but they're never gonna cut.
You have to walk to school uphill both
Yeah,
ways, just like my father did.
bring a bologna sandwich, I mean, but they're never gonna cut the administration. I mean, that's not what they ever look to cut if they cut a budget, it's always this.
That's why you can't include the superintendents. What you need to include is our assembly people and our senators. I've already spoken to Kevin Byrne, Sue Serino. I spoke to the governor's liaison, Dylan, just today about this, and I said, I'm gonna push this. And I said, I hope the governor's behind this consolidation, this experiment, this great experiment in Putnam County. He goes, well, your county's small enough, you certainly can do it.
Well, and maybe what we do as a shared services organization, as the panel, we send the letter as the panel, right?
Right.
So it's got all the supervisors, the county, the mayors, and we do it that way. And
Yep.
Send it up to our state assembly and senators and try to lobby it through NISAC. We can do it that way.
Because they're aware this is it is the enormous element.
So I'm going to sign this then to the whole panel, and we can get somebody to draft a letter as a start. Lynn, you're getting this one, right?
I am.
One and two
Two
ends?
N's and an E.
Beautiful. Anybody raising a hand for anything?
No, but what about sheriffs maybe, or fire departments? And do we all need these big Taj Mahals and
Probably
ladder
have them
trucks?
already.
Well, they're not, someone's plans to make them bigger.
Or by equal.
Um,
Maureen won't let that happen. Neither will Rich.
Tom, you part of the panel? You're part of the panel, right? As a representative for IT?
Yes,
There you go.
You're doing a good job with the radio committee.
thank you.
Well, we have the existing committee, so
You
we
do.
can just flush it out a little bit more and get it there. So
Yeah,
who's chairing that? Is that you, Tom?
yes.
All right, who's doing back office admin?
Now, when you talk about that, what specifically are you targeting, Bruce, or what's your concept of that?
I mean, I think it was put on here was meant to be broad, so it was everything from, you know, is there an opportunity to consolidate some of the legal services, perhaps things like workers' comp, you know, is there those type of things that are done by all of us, personnel, you know, I think that we already consolidate personnel through some of our personnel department already with the schools and the towns. So, you know, almost using a model like that, are there different areas within the county that we can also extrapolate that? It sounds all like you sound.
Yeah, you can put me down for that, sure. I find that interesting.
Russ, you might by default though.
Well, I'm already, we already share services, our mechanics are all hooked up with their expertise.
What, can I ask you to pull together your superintendents and sit down and talk to them about this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put your name in, because you just happen to be here,
Yep.
but I'll offer up Penna to work with you, and if you just pull your,
Okay,
you
yeah, I
know,
can do that.
pull Richie Alphemer and these guys
Yeah.
together and just sit down, have this conversation, we can start that. All right, what else we got? This is me. What do we need? Joint purchasing, including energy insurance. It's either Rich or Maureen, the only two left. Or Kenny. But Kenny's on my sewer
Yeah,
team.
Kenny's like,
I'm on your sewer team.
Yeah, I'm on the sewer team.
Actually, all three of you might be. Maybe Rich might not be. You want to think about this one, Rich?
I'll be happy to work with the full panel on anything you want to work on.
Well, somebody's got to be the lead on it, though.
I'll help you if you're the lead, but you're the lead.
Where do you want to do something else?
All right, but you're gonna have to tell me what you expect me to do between now and 6 weeks for.
Okay, well, listen,
You know,
I will offer,
energy, we've got
We've
models
got
out
that.
there for the electric we can do.
right, one, I'll give you Alex from my purchasing to work with. And then we kind of put together whether we have an opportunity.
County's always good on us, Thanks.
All right.
Bruce, are any of the school districts going to be represented on this panel? Any,
Well, there's no must in front of them being members of the panel. So we'll have to reach out and see if we can get at least one of the representative superintendents to participate on a regular basis, let them know at least what our view of it is, and go from there.
Well, you're gonna consolidate the administration, sending recommendation to the governor to consolidate administration, they'll all show up.
Yeah, well, you know, obviously if we talk to them and tell them kind of what the panel's thinking is, then perhaps they'll participate as a result.
I mean, it is such a
in my
secret.
opinion, Bruce, that's where your biggest savings is. Obviously, I think we're all in agreement
Yeah.
that the school districts are the biggest cash cow in the county, you know, that cost the most money. 73% of the taxpayers' dollars go towards school taxes.
Right.
You know, and I think that there's probably quite a bit of room that, you know, where to find savings in administration only. Nothing personal, Sam, I know you're retired, but I think the school districts are definitely administrative loaded, too top heavy. And I think the biggest
Central
savings
office.
would be on the upper end administrative end. So that's what, they're not gonna come. They were here last time we met. I know Mahopac was represented. I think maybe Carmel had someone here.
And Putnam Valley.
Putnam Valley
Bruce
was here.
did too.
Yeah.
Bruce-
But,
Yep.
you know, and I think we can talk to them offline, find one of them that's, you know, can maybe represent the group, or we sit them down separately, have a separate meeting with it, and talk about it, you know, outside of these meetings that we're having at the committee. All right, so the commitment I'll make is if any one of you who are heading this, in line you're already here, if you need anything from the county, just let me know. I'll reach into whatever department and whatever expertise we have to give you whatever requisite skill set you need. All right. Next meeting is on the 18th of July. My expectation is with people who have these things, you know, we can start putting together the outline and start identifying what, you know, what needs to get done with these, and we'll get as far as we can, and then just, you know, but particularly if we're not going to submit something for a particular area, perhaps we put a timetable together with regard to the execution of that initiative. So we'll continue to work. Any questions?
Yeah, could you show the next meeting again, Bruce?
Yeah, sorry. Morning meeting. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm a member of the public.
Great. What's your name?
And this is a public meeting.
Sure.
So I just wanted to know how many other members of the public were here? Okay.
Everybody's got your back.
Yeah. Yay.
None of us fighting here, though. That's all right.
So I know, I mean, I heard about this meeting because I was at the first one, and I understood that they were all to be public meetings. So maybe you need to promote it more in the press or at different meetings to make sure that the public does get a chance to come and see what's happening. It's, you know, it's the public who pay the taxes, and if this is supposed to be helping us lower our taxes, it's certainly of interest to me. And as a member of the public, although you didn't ask for this, I would say I certainly endorse whatever you can do to lower the school taxes. I think that's, if you're going to put a lot of manpower and effort, that's where it should go. I think, you know, maybe at the edges you can save some money, but it's really, and it sounds like lots of people here also agree with me that that's really the target, and try whatever you can to reduce those taxes for the people who live here.
Right. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming to us. Yeah.
But as I said, a little more advertising, maybe there'd be more of us.
What town are you from, man?
Carmel,
Okay, all right, thanks.
you're welcome.
Thanks for meeting.
Yeah.
Lynn.
I agree completely with the woman from Carmel. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. but-
That's
but
what
I
I know, the woman from
It sounds very exotic. I wish I were the woman from Southeast, but I'm not. But anyhow, I think, and I know these are all set, and I'm not suggesting they change, but these public hearings have been at difficult times for people to come to. 4 in the afternoon, 10 in the morning. So I think that's part of the problem. I know we really tried to promote it, I think on Facebook and things like that in the town of Southeast anyhow. Not the town, but other organizations. So I think part of the problem here for public meetings or hearings is the time has been tough. And also, Mary Ellen said, and I know she's not here, a lot of people who aren't here did ask at that meeting, they wanted to see more of a breakdown by town of property tax collected.
Yeah.
Do you have those figures?
I thought we didn't post those out? I know Lisa did them. Lisa Johnson did them. And I thought they went out. I know you would ask for them specifically. Then.
No, actually, I didn't, I have the breakdown, because I tried to get it myself, but I know there were like 3 or 4 different people who asked. I know Kathy Croft, who's
Yeah, yeah.
commissioner.
I'm sorry, Kathy was the one that
Yeah,
asked for
yeah,
them.
so.
I will follow up. I know we have them because I've seen them before, so I know she just did the taxes, so she's got it broken down. But I thought it was being posted on
I thought it was
this
on
link.
the site.
You thought it was on?
I thought it was on, I'll look.
Okay. We'll follow up with that.
Okay,
Can you,
thank
Tommy, can you get back to Matt on that?
Yes.
Thanks, Tom.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you mentioned the elected officials. So Assemblyman Burns is in Albany right now, so I am here getting this information, and I will bring it back to him, and he'll probably attend the next meeting in July.
Yeah, I spoke to Kevin about this offline, you know, he stopped by the office, and I told him if the state could do one thing, it would be to try to equalize and lower those school taxes. That's the killer. It is. It's driving everybody out of the state.
I'm from Senator Murphy's office, John Winton, to that end. I think, not to talk a little too tongue-in-cheek, but I think the governor, it's clear, has a pretty poor idea of the issues with taxes in general, as his State of the State showed, when he said, if you're complaining about your taxes, talk to your counties and talk to your towns, instead of talking about his own state mandates. So I worry that, or urging the governor, I think anything that's going to be done with school taxes needs to get done at this level, because I don't see anything coming from the top, any kind of change there.
How about the Senate, though? The Senate and the Assembly?
I-
They have a strong voice.
Absolutely, but I think the governor still has to sign it before it goes into law. I think it's gonna be most effective if that's what we're doing, especially like you said, like you spoke to the governor's representative who said,
Yes.
Putnam County is the place to do it, it's a small county. If it's gonna be done, I think it's gonna be done at this level. That's my feeling.
Thank you.
And at the school level, it's gonna come back to unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, and we'll be obviously following up on the list that we have here.
Great.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Bruce, see you later.